purposefully vagabond wandering, recording the important parts, maybe the whole of it. I can't be sure, as there's always more. There will always be a breach, a lack of civility, a legion walking past, pressing you forever ahead, obscuring, devouring, mocking. How can we know anything if we're not able to observe calmly the play of events? And more importantly, what's driving them? When I was younger, driven by a bottomless ambition and suffering because of it, I'd walk until I would nearly collapse. It invigorated me. I was nearly cruel in the way I drive myself. I've become convinced that it's part of a process. That as a species we learn to walk upright before we learn to think. Though I had no intention of becoming a writer, there was something there. They say that in order for a child to become possessed, he or she must be ripped from their tender years by some pain that goes to the bone. Likewise, the writer, the voice stifled, the experiences catalyzed into something white-hot that formulates itself and begins speaking on its own. It's a moment of profound joy and absurdity when this voice begins to assert itself. As awareness grows, the definition of self loses its rigid structure. What is it about our world that it must be painted over in vivid colors, when truth alone, in its bare essence, is limitless and profound? How you define it, your expression of Dharma, has to be worked out. It's something personal. It's the schoolyard dream that dooms us all, the longing to be something we are not. To the extent, the degree. Your identity must be heated, forged, blasted to an elemental state. You'll imagine that you've gotten somewhere, but the floor will show you plain enough your shortcomings. The curtain cannot conceal the darkness outside. The whole story is there, written in perfect form and symmetry. The true expression of the Absolute, the field of weeds we are so frantic to put in order. There's no state of mind that remains constant. We're never resolved to this. We refute it because we know in truth there is a constant. Our entire struggle is to reveal it once and for all. The spirit doesn't respond to languor. It doesn't need to be embellished or celebrated. It requires a flame, a near constant burning. And most of us spend our entire lives running from it. We won't allow the flames to touch us. We won't burn. Don't attempt to escape. Don't turn away. Don't hesitate. But everything aflame. It wasn't the practice alone that cured me of my afflictions, but the afflictions themselves. There is a great sense of urgency to lean into the onslaught with the full bearing so that one can remain unperturbed. Otherwise, there's no chance. Things only increase, the ground quickly lost. But truth is not recorded indelibly. It must be gleaned from every shuffle of feet, every lost moment underground. There's no place to stop, no end of subway tunnels, long corridors of cement, passengers on the way somewhere, and me, along with them, the imposter. We know we are weak. We know our hunger. We aren't allowed to cease striving. No one gets a free ride. We did not build these empires for the years to consume, but that we may stretch farther, higher, to no end. Our world expresses our inner confinement, reflects in concrete and steel the story of our race, how our consciousness flows, our anger and ambition, our frivolous nature, and above all, our fear. There is no angel. There is flight, but no end of night. This blissful thing that wanders the streets, building tolerance, solace, tolerance. down to the depths. The raising blackness of the tunnel pulls at me as if I were falling out of the sky. How many thousands pass above us unaware? There are so many here. I wonder if anyone else on the train can feel the weight of it, the intensity. Yes, all of them. They all know. The love had become something tangible, a glowing presence that surrounded me. It lit the dark forest, slowly drifting through the rain and fog like an apparition. Day after day, the interactions with her spun into a web of light that swelled to a crescendo of trembling before the One. I was so enraptured both with her and the final. The filaments coming together into a wondrous whole, that I feared to remove her, to return to me alone falling into the abyss. If she had any idea what I faced, hour by hour. Both the rapture and the uncertainty. But what joy to live in those brief moments with her. The rhythm, the beat, the heat of the night air, restlessness, longing, pacing, long walks in solitude, lost in thoughts of her, trembling and crying, forgetting the way, the swell of love imploding, cascading into the resonant field of meditation, as perfect and natural and pure as the light from the source. Everything seems to be interconnected, like a neural pattern. How does it work? So many connections and bonds, all I can see. Such a difficult architecture. We think of ourselves as separate entities, but we are not. We are an amalgam of things growing dynamically. Bonding is more than joining to another entity. It's growing the network. The great love, great peace of the one mind is the true emotion. But to connect to the one mind, it requires a deep sacrifice, a whole life. Everything that we do is meditation, bringing order out of chaos. Chaos is the rule in nature, but not without a peculiar symmetry. The patterns are everywhere. The Buddha understood this. He taught that everything is endlessly interconnected and interdependent. At the center of the mandala, he reflects the pure light of the Absolute. He's surrounded by bodhisattvas, who, unlike him, all have something in their hands. They're the ones who interact with the world. In Buddhism, we take a vow to act as bodhisattvas until everyone in the world is saved first. That is our way. What are our skillful means?